Hey, it's me, Joey Only, Caribou Weather Dude here on this YouTube channel. Make sure you check in tonight because we will be making a new episode of the Meteorological Report. That's me and Frankie McDonald, Brandon Howick, Imogen Bailey, and friends. So, yes, we will be talking about all the things I'm talking about today. This is your forest fire, your wildland weather fire behavior advisory. Let's see, what do I want to call this? This is your forest fire behavior advisory, your wildfire behavior advisory video. That's right. Okay, I got some predictions for you as to what's going to go on, and that's what we're talking about today. Things are going to dry out, and we got some big time thunderstorms coming through, especially Friday and Saturday. But this is going to be sort of the story throughout much of the next week, the possibility of thunderstorms, right? And things getting drier. Let's have a look right now. Here's earth.nullschool.net. And what I want to look at first of all is humidity. So in just the last day, there's been a big change in the humidex values going on in Western Canada. That cool, precipitous, snowy weather, whatever was going on there for a few days, well, that's over, and in behind is coming more and more warmth, and that's helping to trigger some big-time thunderstorm action. We've seen some really aggressive ones in the Caribou yesterday. Two severe warned storms, one that crossed Highway 97, the Big Lake Ranch storm, I'm calling that. At one point, it was capable of producing ping pongs. I never did get confirmation as to whether that happened or not, but the radar images look pretty good. And then there was also one that was approaching Hansville that had some spectacular wind readings as well on the velocity scans. Fire danger ratings across Canada, and you can tell we've had all that precipitation going through. I mean, Alberta just got completely watered down, and much of southern BC did, but that was not the case in the north. I was up north on a fire, and it was still very, very dry up there. So concerning as things continue to dry out and more thunderstorms, that fire possibility, especially in the north. But when that humidex value, that RH, keeps going down this next week, and the temperatures keep going up, we're going to see drying trends change quite quickly. Fine fuel moisture codes in northern BC still very dry up there, very high numbers, high values, and I think that this blue section through much of the Rocky Mountains into the central BC, I mean, how long will it take for the Okanagan to dry out? I mean, come on, you know what happens there when it gets hot. There's in a lot of places not even a lot of soil and ground to hold moisture, so when it gets hot, things dry out in the ground quick. The Duff moisture code, northern BC, real bad. Okay, real bad, way above 60. So again, northern BC, we're concerned for fire behavior up there. Drought code as well, let's have a look at that. Drought code. Okay, and now we see, like, despite how much rain came recently, there's still drought codes pretty high through much of the central interior BC. So how much of that rain that just fell recently penetrated deep down in places? Well, according to the drought code, perhaps not all that much. And the buildup index being the big one, and you can see that finger in southern BC, when we get to the buildup index, is already looking like more favorable. And as things dry out in the next 2 weeks, more and more favorable, we'll see these values change fast. And in BC, I mean, of course, we have this gigantic fire going on. That's the biggest one in provincial history. 553,000 hectares Donnie Creek is listed at right now. So that's crazy big. And yeah, we're all very concerned about that, of course. But when you look across the fire danger map, almost everything in southern BC is being held or contained. It's really in the north that we see some of these big fires that have been very active, and that corresponds to what we just seen in the drought moisture code and things like that in the buildup index. But as the week continues, we're going to see this change more and more. So here we are in the windy, and we're going to take a look through today. We're going to jump ahead though to 3 p.m. Temperatures still fairly moderate in BC Thursday. Risk of thunderstorm mostly in the north through Fort St. John, Fort Nelson. Well, that's where we're concerned about fire starts. So that's an issue already. And humidex values are quite low in a lot of places. So already very dry air, and dry air helps fire. Fire breathes air, and if the air is dry, that helps fire. It doesn't like to breathe the thing that kills it. So we see some possibly strong thunderstorms going on up there, 7 p.m. Some of these will be pretty dry, lightning, not getting a lot of rain in some of those places. Alberta's still seeing some good rain though up in Fort McMurray and whatnot, so very happy for them. Look at overnight 3 a.m. big time thunderstorms in the United States, Nebraska. Wow, South Dakota could see some, Montana, some very aggressive thunderstorms. 6 a.m. in BC. Now we got thunderstorms developing at noon. Look where all these are in the north. These are all through the areas that we just said are favorable for fire conditions already. And in southern BC, could see some very strong activity come through, right? We could see severe storms, we could see big hail, we could see wind gusts. This might be where a lot of these fires start and are smoldering around for a bunch of days, and we don't find them till next week. That is kind of how it goes, especially as the warmer weather continues and continues. And look at that crazy thunderstorm behavior going on in the States. I mean, they've been having a really excellent storm season down there. We could already see at 8 a.m. thunderstorms developing, Blue River and the Caribou Mountains, places like that. Could be a bit of rain spread across BC at that time. However, some of these storms could turn very, very, very powerful. Look at, I'm having a good look at my backyard right here, seeing some of that. Northern BC as well, all through northern Alberta, all through places that still are pretty dry. So we're concerned about more fires. We're concerned about the north especially. 3 p.m. we're looking at 26 degrees, 27 degrees, things like that in central interior of British Columbia, and humidex value is below 19%. So definitely we're looking at fire weather right there. Definite fire weather. When you have low humidity and very warm temperatures. So you could call this crossover because the humidity percentage is below the temperature expectation. 100 Mile House, Williams Lake, Kamloops, all places that could see some good lightning activity Saturday. Into the evening, it could carry on. For some of you, might get some night flashes. Thunderstorms continuing in northern British Columbia Sunday 12 a.m. And this seems to be much the pattern. Coming. Thunderstorms on Sunday developing south of Fort St. John, maybe places like Dawson Creek, maybe Tumbler Ridge, seeing more thunderstorm activity. Fort Nelson, daily occurrence, southern BC, Sunday. This could be really your day as well. Alberta starting to get more of that thunderstorm activity again. We're in for a pretty good thunderstorm season, it seems to be. I would call this a thunderstorm season for sure. And we know that we're starting to have increasing conditions towards fire behavior. And already a Monday, 23 degrees at 11 a.m., 25 down in Vernon. This could be when Cranbrook and Elkford Monday morning start seeing thunderstorms developing early. Monday may be a bit of an off day for the Caribou, but look at the heat ramping up there. 27. Southern BC, lots of thunderstorm development. Looks like primarily the mountain tops will be convective as well. This dry weather will be sucking the moisture out of everything, like even including you. And again, Tuesday, 2 p.m., lots of thunderstorms. Vernon, 30 degrees, Salmon Arm, 27, Kamloops, 27. Look at these temperatures, man. It's going to be getting hot, hot, hot. And the humidity, quite low through a lot of these places, right? So we're looking at fire weather, potentially crossover weather. This is just 2 p.m. Well, let's go ahead. Hour or two. Well, okay, why is that changing? That's probably because of all the thunderstorms in southern BC. That'll help drive the humidity up a little bit. Fire starts are really the concern. This is the week where we start to really wonder what's fire season going to look like. Wednesday again, 2 p.m. Temperatures in Quesnel, 31 degrees. Prince George, 30. This should be some of the hottest weather maybe the next 2 weeks, maybe. We'll see how things change, though. I mean, this is already looking pretty far out. We're looking 5, 6, 7 days out, trying to guess what we're going to be seeing next week. But the point is, we got consistent thunderstorm weather, consistent heat coming, consistent dry air coming up from the south, and El Nino is here to stay. This is happening. So this is forest fire behavior advisory for all of you, right? To start watching for fire starts and start being prepared. Thursday again, like every day of the next week, we could see thunderstorm behavior in British Columbia, and we could see increasingly warm temperatures. So you've heard it from me now. Starting Friday, things are going to be getting more and more towards what I would call a real deal thunderstorm season in British Columbia. So we'll be watching to see how many of these thunderstorms turn severe, what kind of behavior they have in them. Will we see things like tornadoes and big hail in British Columbia over the next week? Well, maybe. I mean, we've already seen that kind of stuff this year already. So you just never know, right? Okay, I'm Joey, only Caribbean Weather Dude. Stay safe out there and be prepared.